You're listening to an IBA transmitter that is used to carry Essex Radio. Programmes from Essex Radio recommence at 6 a.m. with The Breakfast Show.
Well, I have a number of alarm clocks that all go off around about 4:30 in the morning, and then they all sort of make a great deal of racket and make me feel that, I better really move. I normally actually turn on to another radio station to hear the news at 5, just to make sure that I know what is going on in the world. And then I drive 4.5 miles from where I live to the station, and it's lovely actually, because especially in the summer, you can see that the roads are fresh and there are birds still on there picking up bits on the road, and it's great. You see the sun coming up, and I really enjoy it. And there's no one around. Of course, traffic is very, very light, and I get into work about 5:15. It does vary, of course, from day to day, depending on how tired I'm feeling or how fast I drive. But normally I'm in for about 5:15. And then it's a case of course, just getting down and picking up a box of records that I prepared the night before, and also all my mail will be all in there, the running order for the programme, competitions, it's all in there. I just pick the box up and go in to the studio, which is the Studio 1 that the Breakfast Show comes from. And there are a number of things that I have to do before actually going on the air, because I'm firstly in. I have to sort of make sure that the transmitters are all on and functioning, and then I have to push buttons and things to get the studio live. And then it's me, and, the rest you should know.
To Breakfast Show with John Scragg.
Oh, yes, you are. Good morning to you. It's Monday morning, the 21st day of May. I had a lovely cup of coffee here this morning. Got a nice top 5 coming up at around about 9:15 this morning. It's John Burt's choice of records, and we've got the Beatles, the Stylistics, Mott the Hoople down here, and also Smokey Robinson and David Bowie as well. So, John, if you're listening at the moment, be by your phone around about 9:12. Okay, I should be there saying hello. To Julian Hart as well from Blind Way in Thorpe Bay. Happy birthday, Julian, love from Mum, Dad, Adrian and Crystal as well. Right, you really can listen. Thank you enough for you can feel. Put my finger on you. Like a puppet thing when I pull the string. Isn't that a great song? Jimmy Helms, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. What now? Wait a moment. It's 15.5 minutes to 8. It's the Breakfast Show. The sun is beaming down upon us this morning, looking lovely outside. And the weather forecast in brief, dry and sunny. It's round about 10 degrees at the moment, 52 degrees Fahrenheit, and today's high 1868 Fahrenheit. The outlook remaining dry, but wait for it, the occasional thundery shower tonight. Watch out for that. Take the umbrella with you. And on to the travel news at 15 to 8. If you're going by bus or by train this morning, no problems for you at all, so off you go. They're all going where they should and when they should. And if you're flying from either Southend or Stansted airports, no problems there. Flights are going out and coming in on time. What's happening on the roads? Checking out the roads for you, it's over now to police headquarters and Julian Fields.
If you're heading into London, there's a couple of problems to note. Firstly, following a burst water main, part of City Road, that's the A501, is closed northbound. That's just up the old street.
A128 at Harringate, about 3 miles south of Brentwood. You'll meet long hold-ups in both directions, so try to avoid the area for at least an hour. And if your route includes
the A12 Eastern Avenue through Ilford, you can expect to be delayed, as the traffic lights at the junction with Leigh Street are out of order, and there's already a queue over a mile long on the eastbound carriageway.
Very heavy traffic, especially on the A12. And in Chelmsford, there are still long tailbacks due to this and the resurfacing work.
From early morn to late at night, turn the sun to see the light shining from the country to the sea. Yeah. You can feel it everywhere. It's something special in the air. Always by the way you
Massive police hunts underway after armed robbers attacked. This is my Reginald Boson cave voice. A massive police hunt's underway after armed robbers attacked a security guard outside an Essex bank and escaped with £20,000. Guard was knocked to the ground yesterday afternoon with what appeared to be a revolver.
That's Reginald Boson on a bad day.
An Essex politician calls for compensation for the families of men killed in the
Shall I do the bed behind?
Yeah. And a play written by the Pope gets a mixed reception at its premiere.
Coming up to the end.
Yep, rabbit, bunny, jabber,
Rabbit.
yep, rabbit,
That's Chaz and Dave.
rabbit, yep,
Oh,
rabbit,
dear.
bunny,
Goodness
jabber,
me.
rabbit.
Right, add a song called Rabbit.
Essex Radio.
And to the weather forecast, dry and sunny around the county. It's 9 degrees at the moment, rising today to 18 degrees, 68 Fahrenheit. And the outlook remaining dry, warm and sunny. That's your weather forecast. And news headlines now with Diane Stradling.
It's 8:30. An Essex politician is calling for adequate compensation to be paid to dependents of men killed or wounded in the Falklands fighting. Con O'Brien, Labour's prospective parliamentary candidate for Southend East, says people will suffer however large a pension from the government may be. Essex water workers are to be asked whether they'll support industrial action on behalf of local nurses, and local branches will vote on what action to take. But if branches take the decision to strike, they'll have the full backing of the union's national executive. Those are the headlines. More news at 9.
Thank you, Diane. It's 8:32. Good morning. You're looking very good from where I'm sitting. And Phyllis Hyman, you sure look good to me.
Jumble sale from 10 till noon tomorrow. Belfairs Methodist Church, Eastwood Road North. 10 pence admission there. The local Whistle Stop Group is holding a spring fair at 10 tomorrow morning. Mayflower Hall, Chapel Street, Billericay is the venue. All proceeds to the Tinnitus Research Group. Okay, let's have a look, see what's happening on the programme today. At 10:30 we have our Action Desk feature all this week featuring the Citizens Advice Bureau. And today coming in, indeed all this week coming in, will be Colin George, who's the General Secretary here in Southend. The under 3 foot high spot at 10:45. At 11 o'clock we have Terry, the Essex Radio optician, coming in.
I started off my offshore radio experience back in 1970 with North Sea International, spent about 15 months there. Then I spent another 6 months with Andy Gemmell-Smith, who's the chief engineer here, and that was on Radio Atlantis. Well, of course, the big difference is that the studio doesn't move, or at least most of the time it doesn't move, which is a big pro for me because I used to get terribly seasick, and that's not a very pleasant experience. In fact, my very first day on the ship, I was very, very ill. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, I would sit there with 2 seasickness tablets beside me just in case of emergency. And luckily, if I wanted to leave the studio to throw up over the side, it was only, 15 feet away, up a ladder, and there we are, Bob's your uncle. The atmosphere, of course, was also very different out there. It was much more relaxed, and we could have more of a fun time. Obviously, we have various parameters we have to work to here, such as we have the managing director sitting only about 30 feet away.
These are the places I've got already. Is Southend, Braintree, Colchester, Purfleet, Basildon, Romford, Ongar and Cold Norton, so you can see we're going right around the area.
I think we've got to do a lot of this, John. I think the important thing that we need to do is to get out much more into the area, and we've got to major with people like Tim, who have very wide appeal. The fact is that Orwell are covering Colchester badly, we're covering Colchester badly, and I think we've got an opportunity here to move in with the outside broadcast and grab a bigger chunk of the audience.
One of the things I'm worried about, of course, here is that on the Saturday, 12 to 2, is that when we start to get the bad weather and the snow, but maybe the outside broadcast can be an outside-inside broadcast.
Yes, we could concentrate on the covered shopping precincts. We should go where people are going. We shouldn't assume that people will go because we're there. We should only add the radio station to a high area of traffic. So if people are shopping in Chelmsford Marketplace or in Basildon Precinct, there we should be. We shouldn't say, come and join us at so-and-so. Because I think...
Well, when I started, I was actually taken on as a secretary stroke presenter. The job doesn't actually mean that. It means all sorts of other things. You do a bit of technical operating, you do a bit of phone flicking, and then gradually I was aiming towards doing a full-time presentation job. From a personal point of view, I was terrified the first time. I could hardly speak. My mouth was dry. My voice was quavering. But bit by bit, you learn to conquer the terrifying fear, and you just calmly approach it, knowing that you will feel a little bit nervous, but you get over that.
Okay, he'll call you as soon as he comes off air.
And Terry, I think the first thing we'd like to discuss is hard and soft lenses. We're talking about contact lenses today. Now, what are the pros and cons of each different type of lens?
Well, the advantage of a hard lens is that it's a fairly durable lens. When someone gets on well with it, they can wear it for very many hours and over a great length of time. Soft lenses have more or less instantaneous comfort. When you have been wearing a soft lens and you go back to glasses, your vision is quite clear. Having worn a hard lens for any number of hours and then going back to glasses, the vision tends to be a bit blurry, spectacle blur.
So you can't really alternate between spectacles and hard lenses?
That's quite correct.
Well, that's quite a useful thing, because if somebody finds that their soft lenses, for want of argument, are a bit uncomfortable, they can go straight back to the spectacles again.
That's quite right.
It's sorry to trouble you. I'm from Essex Radio. The government's saying that inflation's gone down again and you all should be better off. Oh, blimey, it hasn't. It hasn't gone down. Yeah.
I bought a packet of rice for 16p. With Uncle Ben. And it's now gone to 40 odd, isn't it?
48 it is.
In less than 6 weeks.
So you wouldn't agree that inflation's down to the lowest level for 3 years?
No,
It hasn't gone down.
Everything's
gone up. Every time you go to the shop, there's something
gone up. I should go and get a job as an accountant.
We go around all the shopping places, all the, big supermarkets, and we don't find anything gone down, not really. Okay. Might be the odd thing here and there, but very little, but the biggest majority of things are up, aren't they?
Only one gentleman tried to keep the price under control, and that was Stafford Cripps, who got the bird.
Right, we're into music now, and it's John Anderson's Surrender. As you can see, we're now into a record, and I'll just briefly explain to you what the desk does. This bank of faders here, or slots, letterbox type slots, play our commercials and our jingles. I'll give you a quick demonstration of that by pressing the button like so. Well, there you are, that was one of our 70 or so in-house jingles, and all our commercials are on tape, like this one in here. Everything, in fact, that we advertise is on cartridge. They're a bit like 8-track cartridges, in fact they're not. Whereas an 8-track cartridge has about 3 or 4 different tracks on it. This is just the one. These are all these red faders here. One that's up now are the microphone faders. You've got faders for guests. The green ones operate the 2 turntables, and the yellow ones operate the cartridge machines. It's a question really of getting to know the colours, remembering them, and just getting to know your way around the desk. It all looks a bit frightening to start with. It's a bit like driving, I should imagine, like driving an articulated lorry for the first time. If you don't know what it's all about, it's probably a bit hairy, but terrifying. And people see it and they think, good heavens, you sit in front of that for 3 hours every day, you must be mad. Well, it does help, actually. These knobs down here, if you can see them, basically are all fairly logical. The yellow one at the top brings the AA in. Those are road traffic reports, which don't actually crop up in my programme. They come up in the breakfast show and in the drive time show, which follows mine. Yellow is for AA, blue is for police, red is for fire, and so on and so forth. Basically, I mean, that's a very sort of simplified explanation of what the desk does.
Said she could check out this Clapton murder, and she said she can't because she's eating her sandwiches.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, so she's going to put it back on her.
Oh.
I thought, well, as long as she's doing something important, you don't really mind so much.
Yeah, it's a group of police related.
Uncle Ben, and it's now on
48 it is. This was...
less than 6 weeks.
So you wouldn't agree that inflation's down to the lowest level for 3 years?
Oh, hello, it's Stalin Sterling here, Essex Radio. I'm really like to check on an incident which I think happened last night, where a man died. Oh, well, thanks a lot anyway. Just checking, really. Bye-bye. It was, he collapsed, Nikki, heart attack.
Oh, he collapsed.
Heart attack, and it was a very long flight of stairs, so he, his head got crushed on the way down.
Oh.
Some left-wing militant group, you know, attacked a person in the concern. No, I suppose you don't really. Ah, boring.